Is it me? Am I the problem in my business? Oh, we're gonna need this to talk about the problem. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Catherine and I'm a beauty and reselling enthusiast, and those are the things that I love to talk about on this channel for the most part. Reselling has been an interesting roller coaster ride as of this year, and we're going to be getting into my February reseller recap and tell you the highs and the lows of the month. So if that's something you want to watch, stick around. First off, I want to start with the makeup. I actually really like how it turned out. So everything I'm wearing is in my current Shop My Stash, which I will link up for you. It's my March Shop My Stash. And I used the new Natasha Denona Bloom palette. I do have a swatching video of that, so I will link that for you if you want to see all the colors swatched out, and then everything else will be, everything will be listed down below. If you're curious, there will be affiliated links. I earn a small commission. You don't have to shop through them, but I appreciate it. All those things. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of this video, which is my reseller recap. If you're unfamiliar, basically I am a part-time reseller, so I sell other people's trash on the internet. I go to thrift stores, I acquire clothing. I normally sell, primarily sell women's clothing, more on the trendy side of stuff. And I resell it online on different platforms like Poshmark and eBay and Mercier and Depop and all those wonderful things that we'll get into in a little bit later. And so I kind of like to recap how the month has been. And we talk about, like I said, we talk about highs, we talk about lows, we talk about some things that I want to change or things that I want to keep going in my part-time business. So let's jump into it. And first, I do have a little glass of red wine because it's Saturday. It's Saturday, baby. Cheers. Cheers to you. All right. Hold on. Now let's get into it. So I will move over so I can put all of my wonderful, not so wonderful numbers. All right, so we are recapping February. I'm actually getting this up pretty quickly. I'm filming March 8th. Normally I don't film these until mid to end of the year, but that goes to show you that things processed pretty quickly, and what that really means is that I didn't have a lot of sales. So let's just be honest with that. All right, so how many sales did I have? Well, it came out to $585.31. My cost of goods was $135.09, meaning I spent that much money on all of the inventory I sold that particular month. And then my total profit minus fees, all that stuff. This is everything minus, not minus taxes. So this is minus cost of goods, minus fees, but has not been reported to the tax man yet, which will happen next year. My total profit was $495.24. So with my part-time reselling, yes, an extra $500 in my pocket is wonderful. I will not deny that. That goes towards unexpected bills, that goes towards student loan payments, that goes towards vacations and stuff like that. So I am not saying that is not wonderful, but that's not where I have been in the past. So last year my goal was to get $1,100 in profit each month, and we can see that I'm far below that. So we'll talk about a little bit later at the end of the video. That kind of comes into the notes section of things that I'm doing well, maybe things that I can change to make that number go up. But my average cost of goods was $9.65, which I will say is much higher by $3 or $4 than is my total average cost of goods, is how much I spend normally on items. And again, we will talk more about it because I had some items sell that I paid up for, so that affects my average cost of goods for the month. My average listing price was $59.72, which is great. If you think about, normally I kind of stick in the range of about, say maybe like the $20 to $40 mark. So somewhere close to 60 is pretty amazing. And then my average profit per item was $35.37. And as you can see, my goal is to have a 20 plus profit per item average. So we are well above that. Again, that is wonderful. I would love all of my sales to have a profit of almost $36. That is the dream. That is the dream of what I'm trying to achieve. Hopefully we'll get there one day. So my average days to sell is 129 days. I always like to look at this number because sometimes if you are more of a seasonal seller, you can, if it's going to take me 129 days to list something, I'm probably going to start listing summer items now. Like spring hasn't even hit yet, and I'm going to be listing, definitely spring items, summer items, all that kind of stuff. And then this is the sad number. This is the sad number. I don't know if I've ever sold this many, this few items. I don't even know how to say that grammatically correct because I'm so outraged. I don't know if I've sold this few of items before. I sold only 13 items. So not even, February is a short month. It's a short month. And I still didn't sell half the days of February. You'll probably see in my background, I usually put in my Excel sheet to kind of give you an idea of what I use to track my numbers and everything. And there's a lot of space. There's a lot of dead space that isn't used, and no me gusta. So let's talk about how many I sold on each platform. It's really easy. I sold 4 on eBay, none on Depop, none on Curtsy, none on Mercari, and 9 on Poshmark. So now that we've kind of talked about my the averages and all that kind of stuff, we can see some things are great, some things not so great. Let's actually dive into each. I was gonna say each of the sales, but quite literally, I like to give my top 5 highest profits, my lowest 5 profits. Is the wine getting to me? I feel like I can't. Grammar is just not my thing. Sentence formation is not my thing. But because I only sold 13 items, we're pretty much going to talk about all of them. So let's dive into that. All right, so let's dive into these highs and lows, which is pretty much everything I sold this month. So we are first starting with this Koana Swim Leah triangle top in midnight floral. This was a really pretty swimsuit top and this really pretty multi-color floral print. This actually sold on Poshmark. My cost of goods was $1.45, which I think that means that I got it in one of my ThredUp boxes, which if you're ever in the market to watch a mystery ThredUp unboxing, I will link my playlist for you. They're a lot of fun. Sometimes you get trash, sometimes you get some pretty great things. So I'm pretty sure that came in a ThredUp box. But it did sell for $28. My profit was $20.95. It took 282 days to sell within the first time listing it, and it did send an offer was sent through Posture VA. So I use a few different tools in my reselling business. So one of them is Posture VA, the other one is Vendu. They both do kind of different things. If you're ever curious to know more about those platforms, I have some links down below that are affiliated, so I earn a little bit of a commission if you choose to shop through them, but I do really enjoy each of the things. So we're starting off with a profit of $21 as my lowest profit. That is pretty crazy to me. If you've seen my previous videos, sometimes my lowest profiting item is 4 cents. So starting off $21 is kind of a banger. I just wish I would have had more of them. That's the problem. So Moving on to my next sale. This was actually my last sale of the month. This is a pair of All Saints denim biker short in gray. So they kind of had that like biker, like moto detailing right there. These sold on Poshmark. My cost of goods was $4.12. They did sell for $40. My profit was $27.88. They did sell within 263 days of the third time relisting it, so I don't know if this is something I would pick up in the future. And I did receive an offer from the buyer. So yeah, 3 times relisting it, almost 2/3 of the way into a year of relisting it. I don't know if I'd pick these up, although the profit was pretty good. The next item, and you're like, whoa, Johnny Was in your lowest profiting items? Yes. I know, right? This is why this month was weird. So this was a Johnny Was Moa favorite paisley top. I actually had 2 of these. I think I still have the other one. So the first one of it sold. This sold on eBay. My cost of goods was $10.26. You'll see a few other items that are $10.26, meaning they came from the same thrift haul. I will link my thrift haul playlist for you, because I try to haul everything that I get. This sold for $55 with shipping, which ended up being $64.75. My profit was $29.62. It sold within 6 days of the first time listing it, and I did receive an offer from the buyer, and it was on a promoted listing, so I had to pay an additional little percentage of that because it was promoted. I only promote and boost on Depop and eBay. I don't do it on Poshmark. I do not like their system on Poshmark. So we'll talk more about the boosting and the promoting a little bit later, because I always like to kind of see if it's worth it for me, which, spoiler, it is. So we move from this Johnny Was t-shirt to another Johnny Was t-shirt. This was the Johnny Was Malay, I think that's how you say it, Malay floral print short sleeve jersey t-shirt. My cost of goods was $10.26. It sold for $72 plus shipping, which ended up being $81.84. My profit was $42.07. It sold within 21 days of the first time listing it, and I did receive an offer from the buyer, which was within my eBay range. So when I list on Vendoo, and I'm pretty sure you can do this on eBay as well. I don't list directly on eBay or any of the platforms. I list on Vendoo, and then I push it through Vendoo, if that makes sense, on each of the platforms. So I did have a range of what I was comfortable with letting it go with, and it just auto accepts for me. So somebody had, sent in a $72 offer. It was within the range, so it auto accepted. This was also a promoted listing. So usually the highest I will go for promoted listings is 8%. I do that because that's what Depop is, just their flat boosted rate is 8%. So I kind of match that on eBay. Only if it's like a higher priced item. If it's a lower priced item, I'll either do 5% or 3%. But because this was a higher priced item, I'm guessing it was 8%. And then we go into, mind you, this is still my lowest profiting items. I know, bananas, right? So the next item was this pair of Cole Haan Modern Classics Oxford in a black croc print. These were so cool. I truly wish these were my size, but they were a little bit tight on me. So these sold on Poshmark. My cost of goods was $5.47. They did sell for $60, so I profited $42.53. They sold within 20 days of the first time listing it. And I did send an offer to the buyers, so every so often I will do a waterfall sale, which means that I kind of do a succession, is that right, of offers. So I will start with 30% because Posher VA already automatically does a 20%, which I set it to. You can set it to any percentage. So whenever somebody immediately likes an item, a 20% offer gets sent to them. Because I already know they got a 20%, that means I start my waterfall sales at 30%. So I will do a 30% offer off of everything and then immediately do a 40%. So the person who had already gotten the 30% offer before will get the 40% offer, and so, and I usually go to 60%. But these were just such a beautiful, beautiful shoe. Okay, so those were all my lowest profiting items. Now let's get into my highest profiting items. We have another familiar name, Johnny Was Madison favorite V-neck swing tee. This sold on eBay. My cost of goods was $10.26. It sold for $75 plus shipping, which ended up being $84.24. I profited $51.93. It sold within 26 days of the first time listing it. And again, I did receive an offer from the buyer that was within my set range. So it just auto accepted. And this was also a promoted listing. Then we move on to another eBay sale. This is the Theory Utility knit combo wool dress. This sold on eBay. My cost of goods was $10.26. So as you can see, a lot of these items came from one thrift haul, which was actually kind of cool to see. It kind of, I guess, validating in a sense that I did well on that thrift haul. You know, if a lot of those things have already sold pretty quickly, I think I did well. So this was, somebody sent me an offer of $80, which we could see was very, very low compared to what I originally had it listed at. And it was not in range, but I was wanting sales, so I said $80, not too shabby. It ended up being $90.54. I profited $56.65. It sold within 11 days of the first time listing it. And this was not a promoted listing, so I got to keep all of that profit compared to having to spend an extra 8% or giving it to eBay. Then we move on to an item that actually was a personal item. It was a gift. So I normally on my personal items, things that I pay for myself, if I know I'm taking a loss at it, I just kind of zero it out, like where it's like I bought it for nothing, and or whatever the profit would have been is what I say I bought it for. So I just kind of zeros out. But because this was a gift, I did include it in my profits. So this was from Kohl's. This is a sterling silver black quarter carat diamond infinity chain bracelet. Like I said, I did get it as a gift, but I don't wear bracelets, so this just kind of sat around for a really long time. And I was in the mindset of not wanting to feel guilty for keeping gifts that I don't wear. So I did sell this. It sold for $85, so I profited $68. It sold within 217 days of the first time listing it, and I did receive an offer from the buyer. So again, you know, don't be scared to list things that you got gifted. I mean, if you're not going to use it, it's like they gifted you the money instead, right? You just taking the money instead of the item. And then the last item, and you will say, hey, Catherine, that's only 4 high profiting items. You're right, because I didn't have too many sales, so I couldn't even make 5 high profiting items because I didn't have enough. But this was my top sale for the month. This is a Cinca Set Dylan Crushed Velvet Jacket. Sold on Poshmark. My cost of goods was $3.62, and I will tell you, I did pick this up at Plato's Closet because they had no idea what this brand was, and they priced it very low, and I had done some like trade with them, and so when you do a trade, you also get an extra percentage off because you sold with them. At least that's how it is at my Plato's Closet. I don't know if that's how it is everywhere. So I got an additional percentage off. So that's why my cost of goods was so low. This sold for $125, so I profited $96.38. It did sell within 97 days of the second time listing it, and I had to list it a second time because somebody initially purchased this outright. I think I had it listed for like $275, or maybe not that much. It was quite high. And they bought it outright, and then immediately canceled. Like, I knew, not to, if, okay, here's a little, come closer. Here's a little tip from me to you. If somebody outright buys something, especially from your Poshmark closet, wait the 3 hours. Wait the 3 hours before you ship it. And because they have a 3 hour window to cancel. And I have been in that situation before where I have shipped out something that somebody bought at full price within the 3 hours, because you're like, oh, I'm customer service, want to get it to them quickly. And then they've canceled. So then you're kind of you're not necessarily at a loss. Usually Poshmark will pay you out, but that person will get a free item. And maybe you'll get your money, maybe you won't. So just be careful. Wait the 3 hours, hold your horses, and ship it after that. So why I was had to think, why am I saying this? Because somebody did buy it, and then like immediately canceled. I remember being so happy too when that person bought it, and then like so disappointed when they canceled. Such a bummer. But it still sold for pretty good money. And I've started doing this new thing with some of my items. I'm like testing it out. And we'll talk more about it in the notes too, but just like these like tags. So this reminded me of a very like kind of Victorian Renaissance type of thing, a little bit of steampunk, a little bit of whimsy goth. So I've been testing out some of these tags to see if it helps. Jury's still out. All right, so now that we talked about the individual items, I also like to talk about bundles, because I love to get items out of, like in bulk. I like to get items out of this house in bulk. And so how I do that is I offer a really good, I humbly think, a very nice, generous bundle discount. So I don't do like the automated bundle discount that Poshmark offers, where it's like, oh, bundle 2 items, you automatically get 10% off, like in the checkout. No, mine is manual because it's such a large discount. So what I do is I kind of have this perpetual sale in my closet that is 2 for $36. So anything that is marked $99 and below is $18 each when you bundle it. So you have to at least bundle 2 items to get the $36, but if you bundle more than that, then it's $54, and so on and so on. So in theory, you could get $198 worth of items in my closet for $36, which I think is a pretty good discount. So I heavily market that to anytime anybody likes anything in my closet. I will put it in a bundle. I will put my bundle listing, get words, bundle listing into their bundle, and I have like a little quick text that I'll put in there to try to, get some people to bundle some stuff. So just like everything else, only had one bundle, which I'm thankful for. I am thankful for, but usually I like to talk about my lowest profiting bundle and my highest profiting bundle, but now we're just talking about my only profiting bundle, which was made up of this, the first one is this Goilia fitted double-breasted v-neck mini dress. I actually picked this up at, I don't know if you have them in your area, but we have a few in ours. This like, it's kind of like Goodwill, the Goodwill bins, but it's like a liquidation place. So these places do have bins, and they get their inventory from like Amazon liquidation or open box stuff, Target, all that kind of things. And they literally just shove all the shit in the bins. It's actually, I feel like, worse than the bins, just the quality of it. So they had just opened up one near us, so my husband and I went in and we were looking around, and sometimes they have clothes, and I found this and I was like, oh, okay, we'll see how it is. The tricky thing is with these places though, is that they start at like each item is $15, then it goes to like $10, then it goes to $5, and then it goes to $1. You do have to be careful when you go in there, because sometimes you will find an item that the retail value isn't even $15 or $10. So, like in theory, they should have nicer things because that's when they just restocked, and then it kind of gets shittier as you go on. But even still, like, you just have to be careful. So be mindful if you ever go into those stores. But I did find this dress. It was new with tags. I thought it was kind of cute. I for some reason, a lot of my clothing that sells very quickly is kind of this like vintagey, vintage like or vintage inspired rockabilly type of thing. So I picked it up because of that. So it sold in this bundle. And then another item that sold in the bundle was a pair of Rothy's. These were the point and marigold. And then the last item that sold in this bundle was a blazer from Bagatelle, a Bagatelle fringe metallic tweed blazer. This was also new with tags. So the cost of goods for all three of those items was $19.34. It sold for $54 because each item was $18. So my profit was $23.86. All right, coming back from my lowest and highest profits, which they were all really high profits. Like, that was wonderful. If only I could repeat that every single day, that would be wonderful. I just want to give you some other general notes. So I always like to kind of keep track if I had any returns or cases, which I did not. I did not have any same day sales either. I love a good same day sale. Nothing like tickles my pickle like a same day sale. But I didn't have any of those. I did have one same week sale, so it was that Johnny Was top that we talked about that sold within 6 days. No full price sales. Also love a good full price sale, but nothing full price. So that, like, even then, some really high profits with no full price sales, I'd still love to repeat that. Had one Pasha VA sale that we talked about, which ended up being my lowest profiting item at almost $21. We already talked about the one bundle. So one bundle, 3 items. I did receive 8 offers from buyers and I sent out 3 offers. And then talking about promoted and boosted. So on eBay, they call it promoted. So I sold 2 items that were promoted and 2 that were not. And then on Depop, I didn't have any sales on Depop. So 0 boosted and 0 not boosted. So just some notes, some thoughts, wrap up thoughts. So high average profit per item. Yay. Wonderful. Again, how can I repeat that over and over and over and over again? That would be the reselling dream for me. But on the flip side, I didn't have a lot of sales, like 13 items. That has to be like a low record for me. Maybe not. No, maybe not. I want to say there was a December. Was it December 2023 or 2022? I think I only made a profit of like $64. So that had to been like maybe 5 sales. So, okay, maybe this isn't the lowest. I'll give it that. It's not the lowest, but it's pretty damn low. But it's like, I didn't sell a lot of items, but I like the higher profit, although it was profit per item, not profit for the month. So it kind of gets me like stuck between this idea of a fast nickel or a slow dime. What would I rather have? Ideally, I'd like to merge the two. Is there something between a nickel and a dime? Is there a 7.5? I would love that, because I'm not afraid to like sit on items for a little bit, but I also don't want to be sitting on them forever. And I'm at the mercy of what the stores provide me. I don't do liquidation. I don't have time to like scour ThredUp. There's some pretty successful people who can go to the unknown brands on ThredUp, and now that ThredUp is actually like putting more photos on there, they can like figure out what the brand is, and something that could be a really great brand that ThredUp has no idea about, they'll price it pretty low and somebody will snag it and then they'll resell it at a higher price. There's also some people who they just have connections for like designer pieces and things like that maybe they have to pay up a little bit for, but the profits in it is even greater than that. I just don't that's just not my scene. Like, I love to go to the thrift stores. I love to find these items. You know, obviously I don't want to pay too much for them, but like that's the fun part for me. That's the good dopamine rush for me. And you know, that's what I like to do. But I'm like, I need to shift something in this business. Like things just seem to, and I don't know if it's just for me. Is it a me problem? Am I the one? I feel like I'm Taylor Swift. I'm the problem. It's me. Question mark. It's like, what do I need to do? Because now I'm just rambling. Let me take a sip of wine. Let me gather my thoughts. So I think I was saying before I just started rambling and talking about Taylor Swift is I don't know if other resellers are having this problem. And when I mean this problem is just low sales. You know, of course, on like, and I kind of keep up with other resellers on social media. That's the only place I keep up with them. I don't really know any resellers in person to kind of have like an honest conversation with them. But on Instagram, on YouTube, it seems like people are killing it. You know, like they're having great sales. It's talking about, you know, selling tons of shit all day. And I just feel kind of alone over here. I'm like, I'm not. So and then it makes me think, and I know social media is just a highlight reel. I know that. But when people are like constantly highlighting it, like every day, you know, it's like, girl, do you have a bad day? Do you have a bad day ever reselling? Because, you know, and yeah, they'll share that too, but it's like their bad day is not my bad day of not having any sales for a week. You know, their bad day might be like not having any sales for a day or not selling on one platform when they sell on 5 platforms. You know what I mean? So I have to think, you know, it's like, are the buyers out there? Is this an economy thing? Which I'm sure that has something to do with it. You know, with everything going on, I can imagine that people are pumping the brakes on some things just to see how things play out, you know, which I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. So, you know, is that a factor in it? Is it me? Am I the factor? Am I just not willing to change? So that's kind of like where I'm at in reselling at this moment. It's a little bit disenchanting at this time. I mean, again, I'm filming March 8th, and I'll give you a little spoiler alert for my March reseller recap. I've only sold 2 items in 8 days. 2 items in 8 days. That's not normal for me. So something has to change. So what I kind of alluded to earlier is what are those changes that I need to make? You know, is that looking closer at the prices of stuff, of how I'm pricing things? Because then I'm like, oh, well, do I need to price things lower? But then I get a month where my lowest profiting item is $21. Like, I'm talking about $60 as a low profiting item. You know, like, do I need to change my prices? You know, live selling has really become a thing. I'm not a live seller. I just don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy having to have my on switch on all of the time. Like, I like making YouTube videos because I can do a short spurt of, you know, providing energy and, you know, giving you my genuine personality, which, you know, it takes energy though. And I'm somebody who doesn't have a lot of energy. So doing live selling just doesn't seem like it's in the cards for me, but that's kind of how like things are turning. And I don't know if I like that. I'm also thinking of like tweaking like shipping options. So on eBay, I only do priority shipping on eBay. Maybe I need to do ground shipping on stuff. And I do priority shipping because when I first started shipping on eBay, I didn't have a plethora of like shipping boxes and shipping materials that I do now. So because I always got the priority ones because they're free. So it was like, okay, well then I don't have to worry about it because I'll always have priority items, priority boxes and stuff like that. So it's like, maybe I need to look into shipping, changing shipping prices a little bit. What else? Adding measurements to things. Adding measurements is a very like polarizing type of thing for resellers. You're either team for measurements or team against measurements. And my thoughts about that are, I used to always give her measurements in my listings, but it really slowed down my listing process. So I was at the thought of, I wanted to continue to list more and more and more. So I forwent, past tense of forego, measurements. And I didn't really have a problem with it. You know, if people wanted measurements, I would give it to them. The problem lies in that with selling things, as much as I don't like to say it, you're kind of prying on people's impulsiveness. So especially, you know, somebody likes something, and I'm the same. Like, I think I did it like 2 times today where I impulsively bought something because I was like, oh, that's beautiful, wonderful, I need that in my life right now. And so with reselling, a lot of times these platforms, you can't return items. So people, you know, if they see something, they like something, and they're like, oh, I want the measurements of it, you know, you kind of have to move quickly to keep it on their mind. You know, in our daily life, we have so many things on our mind that you need to be like quick with stuff to be on top of it. So, you know, when somebody asks me for measurements, I try to provide them in a very timely manner, within minutes sometimes if I'm able to, or within a day. But I'm thinking, okay, well, if I had those measurements already listed in there, would I tap into that impulsivity of like, oh, I think that would fit, great, I'm gonna buy it, you know? So those are things that I'm thinking about. And, you know, is it worth kind of slowing down my listing process in order to add measurements? Do I list things immediately and then go back and add measurements? You know, I don't know. Working it out. Another thing, like we were talking about, is just like adding style tags. So if something is preppy, or if something is whimsy goth or coquette, or whatever fucking styles are out there these days, do I add that to the listing? Does that have any merit on the listing selling? I don't know. These are all things that I have to try out. I have been contemplating, because there are just so many different styles of reviving my Instagram too. Like, I never post on Instagram. Very rarely do I post on Instagram about anything. So, and I would like to kind of revive that a little bit. I had an idea, and it's not novel, other people have done this too, is taking like what the most popular aesthetics are for this time, this year, and kind of like posting a little snippet on my Instagram. So not only is it helping me kind of like figure out what these styles are as a millennial, older millennial, what these styles are, what the kids are into these days, you know, and also reviving my Instagram. Let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in. Because another thing, and I forgot to put it on my notes, but now I'm thinking about that, is buying things based more on style compared to brand. So I will say I'm a very brand focused type of person. Brand is usually the first thing that I think about when I'm picking something up, then style. So I'm thinking, with this day and age, just with like micro trends coming up, and also people just you know, not wanting to buy new things with the economy, with how things are, you know, being a little bit more tight with the budget, but still wanting new things. Maybe I need to go based off of style compared to brands of things. So that's another thing that I'm trying to like shift my mind a little bit, because I've been so brand focused, and I'm not going to pick something up that's like not somewhat stylish in a brand than a good brand. There have been times where I will leave things behind that, even though if it's a good brand, it's still not in style. But there have been many times that I have left behind stylish things that weren't good brands. that make sense? I hope it makes sense. So lots of things that I'm thinking about changing. All I'm happy is that I have been kicking ass with doing draft listings. There is, you can't see it, but it's right behind you. When I redid my reselling room, which I still have like footage that I need to put together and make a video with. If you're interested, let me know if you're interested in how I kind of like redid my reselling room. There is a rack of clothing that's behind you, like a Z rack, a little mini Z rack. And that thing was packed full of clothes that I haven't even drafted yet. And I won't lie, it probably sat there for about 3 to 4 months untouched because for some reason I just had this aversion to like listing new things. Not that I didn't want to list new things. It kind of comes back to that energy thing I was talking about, how I don't have it. And it just like, it almost made me fearful of listing new things, which is so weird to think about. But this past week I've been homebound because my car is in the shop for maintenance, and so I had some extra time. You know, normally when I'm like traveling to work and whatnot, I was working remotely, so those times that I would normally travel or my lunch break or stuff like that, I was drafting up stuff, and I have about, looking at it, about half of that rack listed, or at least drafted. So I'm very happy for that. So it kind of gets that momentum back again. I still was relisting items. So I still want to make things like fresh in the algorithm's eyes. So I would delist items and relist them as if they were new. But I wasn't listing new fresh things. So now I'm listing new fresh things. I'm starting to ramble again. So we're gonna wrap this up. So many things that I have to take into account of how to make this business where I want it to be, and maybe one of those is just accepting that I'm not where I was before, and it's not something I want to accept at this time, but maybe it needs to be accepted later on, because things aren't looking too good on the reselling front. But I'm going to do the best I can. Like, I don't want that reason to be me. I want to do what I can within my bandwidth to do, to try to make that better for myself. So if you made it all the way through, thank you. I appreciate it. You're listening to the ramblings of a reseller. Maybe that's what this channel, or maybe this video or series should be called, The Ramblings of a Reseller. I might use that as the title. Yeah, if you're interested in getting started with reselling, let me know. I can give you little tips and tricks, and I swear to you, I have that video. It's still in my head, how to become a reseller. And I just need to do it. Just need to do it. But let me know down below. What are your thoughts? If you are a reseller, how are things going for you? Are you killing it? Is it killing you? Did you achieve your goals this month? It doesn't even have to be reselling. Whatever your goals are, I want to hear about it. Thank you so much for watching. Truly, truly appreciate it. Cheers, and I'll see you in my next video.